So when I got to Bell Labs, they shared offices, and I happened to share offices with a PhD in chemical engineering. And this man had patents that were probably 30 pages long. And he'd become one of my first mentors. And on my first day at work, as we got settled into his office, he turned his chair around, he kind of looked me up and down and held this computer chip in front of me and said, "This is an operational amplifier. It's failing in our Merlin systems out there in the field. You need to figure out why it's failing so we can fix it. If you have any questions, ask me." And then he turns around. And so you see, unlike today's technically sophisticated high school students, I had no idea what an operational amplifier was, what it was supposed to do, what this one didn't do. And so, before the days of Google and Wikipedia, we had this thing called a library. And I went to the library, and I pulled every book on operational amplifiers I could find. I talked to everyone in the halls who would listen and ask questions. And by the end of the summer, not only did I have an idea about why this wasn't working, but I had built a system that simulates the field conditions that causes them to fail. And then with my mentor's help, we fixed the problem. My guess is even now, I'm probably the most knowledgeable intern at Bell Labs on operational amplifiers in the history of that company. But the important thing was the challenge from my mentor was more than to teach me something about this obscure integrated circuit. It's a challenge that has reaped rich dividends for me over my entire career. It is the joy of figuring things out. And so as you depart today, I hope that as you embrace life and engage in complex problems, that you actually discover that joy of figuring things out. And as you're listening to, and as you're out there challenging this world, start to listen to your own voice. That's the next lesson. Running your own race demands trusting yourself even when others don't. Because guess what? There are a lot of people, good people, people who love you, who trust you, and who you love and trust, who want the best for you. And you'll come to them with some ideas about what you want to do and how you want to do it, and they're going to say, "That's crazy." Just like when I left my first engineering job at Kraft and I was telling my grandfather I was going back to business school, and he said, "That's a great paying job, that's crazy." And when I finished business school and decided to join the tumultuous world of investment banking, my friends and my family spoke up with concerns about my sanity. And when I left Goldman Sachs right after we'd gone public to set up a private equity firm called Vista, my mentors and colleagues at Goldman Sachs thought I was crazy. And to top it all off, when I told them I'm going to start a firm, we're going to focus on enterprise software and not be diversified like all other private equity firms, I was going to hire a team of smart, young, talented people who'd never done this before. Everyone knew I was certifiable. And I did this, of course, in the spring of 2000, about 2 months before the entire tech bubble crashed. Well, all I can tell you is I've never been mad at these folks. In fact, I'm grateful for their advice and their concern. Because in their caution, I found my courage. In their doubts, I found my resolve. And in their warnings, I found my voice and chartered my own journey. And I'm proud of the Vista story. We take risks, we do things differently, and we listen to our own voice. We run our own race, and it has worked. We are now considered to be the #1 private equity firm on the planet and have been so for the last decade. And while that may seem like a charming story, a 1 in a million type story, our approach is quickly shifting the landscape from exception to rule and from option to necessity, as people are realizing the way we do it is a better way to do it.